Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we're going to be talking about the place promised in our early days, which was a random choice. But before that, we were just honestly having a great time talking about all kinds of other random stuff as well in our pre-show. If you want to catch everything that we were talking about in the pre-show, go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $8 a month will get you access to that bonus content, or you can join us live on twitch.tv/featured anime podcast. If you come there, hang out with us and everything else, be very much appreciated. And trust me, you will enjoy yourself there. Before we dive into this week's choice, I want to take a moment and thank our sponsor, Tokyo Treat. Now, Tokyo Treat would like to invite everyone to experience Japan from the comfort of their own homes through their snack box. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jack, what is Tokyo Treat? What is it? Is it really that good? It sounds pretty tasty, but what is it? Well, you know what? Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive Japanese snack box subscription service filled with limited edition Kit Kats, specialty flavored Japanese chips, seasonal treats, and the occasional Japanese sodas that are only available in Japan for a limited time. Now, every single box that you get also comes with a cultural guide booklet. So it gives you a chance to learn about the snacks that you're eating, such as their allergen information and other ingredients. So that way you can make sure you're not eating something that you shouldn't be eating, especially if you have an allergy. And also, this booklet has a wealth of information about Japanese culture. So every single month when you get it, you honestly learn more about Japan while you also get to eat some of these very delicious treats. But that's not all. Every month, Tokyo Treat has a different theme. And this month's theme is New Year's Treatings. Now, Tokyo Treat would like to wish you a happy new year and celebrate Oshogatsu, which is Japan's New Year, with a festive box full of sweet and savory Japanese snacks. From unique flavors to fun surprises, this box makes your 2025 celebrations even more delicious. So snack your way into an amazing new year with things like the strawberry chocolate cake Kit Kats, the Hokkaido smoked butter chips, golden kanako mochis, or the Good Luck Taiyaki, or one of my other personal favorites, the Gana Moist chocolate cake truffles. Honestly, every single treat in here is a banger. I love them all. They're all really good and they're all very delicious. So if you want, special for our listeners, if you use coupon code Featured Anime along with our affiliate link in the show notes, you get to save $5 off that very first box. And trust me, these treats are worth it. They are very delicious. And I know you're going to enjoy every single one of them, just like I do. So don't delay. Don't hesitate to click on that link and use coupon code Featured Anime and save yourself $5 off that very first box, because you will enjoy every single treat that is in this box. And of course, we also have affiliate links for you for Crunchyroll, for their store, for their streaming services. You click on those, we get a kickback, helps us grow as well. And you get some great anime product, merch, and streaming. And now onto the meat and brotatoes. The Place Promised in Our Early Days is a movie that came out in November 2004. Producer for it is ADV Films. Studio for it is CoMix Wave Films. Source is an original, which means there is no source material for this. It's 100% original, and it's a drama, romance, sci-fi movie, and it ran for about an hour and a half. Now, The Place Promised in Our Early Days takes place in an alternate reality of Japan, post-World War Japan, where the North and South are kind of split up. You have the North that is the Union, South that is the U.S. held, and there is a tower that is built in the North that reaches up to the sky. How high? No one really knows, at least initially, for the longest time. At least we don't know anyways. And you have our main protagonists, Hiroki Takuya, who are two young men that are building literally a plane to fly to that tower so that way they could check it out. And beyond that, that's about it. Is their ultimate goal, at least at the very beginning. And then you have Seiryu, who has dreams and premonitions about things that will happen. And she ends up also wanting to go over to the tower at the exact same time. And so the ultimate promise is to take her to that tower. Hence the title, The Place Promised in Our Early Days. And that's basically it. It is this entire journey for them to basically go to this tower and the events that are surrounding it and their entire life goals and everything revolving around it.
Well, that's the movie. We'll see you next time.
Indeed. If you feel like we did the too much justice, not enough justice, or anything like that, feel free to leave us a review and let us know, because there you know. Honestly,
I'll start.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go. You can start.
Okay. Honestly, for this being an original, I thought it was very well done. The animation quality was there. The story was easy to follow, but also in depth enough for you to be able to actually enjoy it, to the point to where when you're sitting there watching the movie, it is something that is, it is kind of unique in the sense that they take a different approach for the alternate reality, alternate world viewpoint, in that the U.S., instead of Japan being its own country still after, where it's split, and then you have this tower that no one really knows what it is. No one really knows what it does, at least initially. And the fact that when you're given this information, you're given cookie crumbs to follow all the way throughout the entire movie, that then gives you a nice solid conclusion at the exact same time, was great. The music, the animation style at the same time too, really well done. And one of the other great things that I felt they did really, really well in this movie was when there were time skips, because there are time skips. It is not like you're left hanging trying to piece everything together, because they backfill in that information for you, so that way you know what was going on or what happened, what changed.
Okay. I'm not sure we watched the same movie. The premise seems very similar.
Okay.
The way you said it sounds correct.
All right.
I will agree it was easy to follow up until about the 45-minute mark, halfway.
Okay.
In my mind, maybe it was more, maybe it was less. I wasn't really paying attention to the minutes, but it got real confusing for me, and I couldn't figure out what was real and what wasn't. And I think that was kind of the point of the movie. Now, animation, yes, spot on. Music, very well done. Action sequence, obviously it's not a shonen, but I felt like when they did show really flashy stuff, it was well done. You could definitely tell, at least I hope I'm correct in this, you could tell it was not a Ghibli film simply based on the animation for food. It didn't look all amazing like I would expect a Ghibli film to have.
Well, to be fair, I mean, like, nothing about this screamed Ghibli film, including the fact that it was
I agree.
Studio of CoMix Wave Films for the studio.
I agree. I'm just saying, you could definitely tell. I'm saying I'm hoping that they don't cross animators. That's what I guess I'm saying. I'm hoping they don't cross animators, because then I'll feel a little foolish.
Well,
being said,
I mean, like, CoMix worked on Your Name.
Evident, yes.
Right. Tsuruyuki or Suzume, the one that we just did the movie where the guy turns into a chair.
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously. I mean, like, that should be evident in and of itself.
Yeah.
So they worked on that. I mean, like, they worked on a lot of other things as well, none of which I'm really kind of for. In
Okay.
that, when I say not for, I mean like it is like a purely CG movie, or the animation style is
Oh,
just really not my thing.
that's fair.
Or
Well, I mean,
I,
here they
you know,
do a really good job.
mhm,
They
mhm.
blend a lot of different ideas and concepts into what you would look at and think this should be a normal image, but there's a few things that are out of whack. Like
Yes.
sometimes the color scheme, sometimes it's just an object that you're like that doesn't go there. But I think it has a lot to do with just to show the state of mind as at the narrator.
Yes.
And yeah, it does. I cannot understand how you think the last part of it was easy to follow. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe I was just, not as focused as I could have been potentially. But it was just a garbled heap that they created, and then somehow in some way they were able to piece it apart, like pull out a knot here, a knot there, backfeed. I'm using a rope as an example as far as a timeline goes, and eventually it's a nice straight and it's recognizable as a rope. But where they started, it was just this thing that was knotted up and dumped in mud and then thrown in a concrete bin and then let dry for 10 days. And it made no sense to me whatsoever why certain things were happening, why certain people seemed like they might be older or younger or talking about knowledge that they shouldn't have had yet.
I mean, to be fair, they specifically said like, and then this happened and it's been X amount of time. And then when they were doing another time leap, they said, and X amount of time has passed, and it's not hard to follow. Like, oh, he's obviously X now because he's still in that X position now, or he's still in X spot now. And so obviously he's really kind of trying to move forward with this. It wasn't hard to follow. I mean, like, honestly, even at the very beginning, I'm like, I know where this is going to go.
I guess I'm not nearly as smart as you when it comes to being able to see through plot. I'm the kind of person that just goes along for the ride to see where it goes. This was a roller coaster, and I'm not talking like a Six Flags Fun roller coaster. I'm talking like a, well, what do you mean my seatbelt isn't attached? Oh no.
Yeah. Now from yeah, I mean yeah, okay, I guess I could see that, right?
I mean, there was order, but there was chaos that made order, And their premise of why things were going on, I still don't understand why the catalyst was what it was. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
through
why
relation.
the one thing?
Probably
To what?
by design. Through relation. I mean, like, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if we want to like talk about it.
I'm trying to dance around it, but that's the crux of my whole thing. Like, I don't understand that.
I do. It wasn't hard. I mean, like, they plainly stated it. Like, it was honestly pretty spelled out. Oh, the crux of this argument, the crux of this, the focal point of this is because, it's literally related to what created it.
Okay.
And it was more than likely by design.
It just felt like an abstract guess rather than that this is, yes, they said this is A, B, and C. It just felt a lot more like this is A, B, and C is a nice, easy response as to what could possibly be. It felt off.
I mean, like, I guess I could feel, I mean, like, it's not that it felt off. It felt like, to me, a cop out.
Yes.
Is what it was.
Like, it wasn't a real reason.
It was like all this thing's happening and everything's happening this way and all this breaks out in this point, right? Because at the very beginning, you have, like, about halfway through the movie, you have those three characters, and then Siriu just goes to sleep and she never wakes up, and no one knows why she goes to sleep and never wakes up, and everything like that and everything else. And then it's like, plot. That's why. What happened? Plot. Oh, well, what if this thing happens? Well, plot. Okay. Well,
Plot,
how do we keep moving this along? Remember the plot that we talked about? Yes. More
That.
plot. It's like, oh, okay. So, but, and I'm grossly oversimplifying it and everything like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in the post show, I will, because it's end game stuff. Like what I want to say, it's like why I was able to just like call it pretty much at the beginning of the movie.
Okay. So in your mind, what you're saying is that the whole movie looks like, if you're paying attention and you have a proper mindset, you understand the whole movie from the get-go.
You know exactly how the movie's going to end from the get-go.
I mean, yes, we did. Yeah, that I agree. But to say I'm going to Denver from Minneapolis, we know the destination, we know the origination. There's like 900 different ways you can go.
Not once you like, if you pay attention enough to it, where you're just like, yeah, I know where this is going.
Okay, well, I just over my head, below my knees, that kind of thing. I might have focused on the wrong point and then got lost, and it never came back to pick me up.
Yeah, I can totally get that, right? I can totally understand that. But they do have a lot of conversations in the anime, and there's a lot of things that happen in this anime where if you are not paying attention, it is easy for you to get sidetracked. And if you're not great with names, you're gonna go, why are we focusing on this brand new person now?
Mm-hmm.
Versus
it's not a
like,
brand new person, it's their last name.
Yeah, it's literally the same person. And okay, well, what happened to this other person? And then you just like, why are we following this other random guy now? And everything like that. Like, what does this have to do with this or that? And so you're given a lot of information. The thing that kind of throws it for a loop that makes it kind of hard to follow, at least initially, is you immediately start in the future, then you backtrack to the past. They don't give you a hint on that, and then they do time leap followed by another time leap with them kind of lacing in alternate reality mentality, parallel world stuff at the exact same time with everyone just kind of going, there's a big boogeyman over there and this is a big scary thing over there, but no one really knows how to use it or what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And all you have is like conjecture with them finally going, we believe point A is literally connected to the grain of sand over here on the right.
Yeah. Essentially, they were trying to merge realities, I guess, is one of the experiments, or the main experiment they were attempting to do. And they were able to make a grain, a space, the size of a grain of sand manifest. And they're like, this is a different universe. I can only keep it for like, 5-6 minutes at a time?
Like
anything
30
more
seconds.
than that, it falls apart. Yeah, 30 seconds.
Like 30 seconds, and then that's it. However, at like halfway through the movie, you find out it's like, oh, but this random tower is able to do it. It's like, why?
Yeah, the tower, the big old tower that everyone's like in awe of, and oh yeah, so and so must have built this a long time. No, this is just different.
Well, we know that it wasn't built a long time ago. We know like it was built within relative recent history. Because they talk about it, like, about it. Everyone knows about it. How it was able to be built and why it was so massive and why no one thought to just like attack it, because people love to attack random things that spontaneously pull up that are big and mysterious and scary is beyond me.
Me as well, unfortunately. It's just... It's a good movie as far as visually goes. If you're smarter than me, which isn't hard to do, and you're able to follow this show or this movie, I'm sure it's a good watch.
Yes.
For me, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
It was too convoluted for me. And the names were really long, which I know is not a good critique, but like...
The names were really long?
Yeah. Like the first name, the last name, and then they traded with them almost interchangeably. which is why you mentioned that it's hard unless you're good with names. But why are we talking about this person?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's because of the time skip, right? So unless you're paying attention to the name, right, and you're like, oh yeah, Takuya is his name, and then you look at the first and last name, it's like, if you're not paying attention to the name, if you suck at just remembering names like Takuya don't mean anything. It's like, oh, Takuya, okay, why are we focusing on this random person's name badge? It's like, oh,
there's a reason why I go the main character, and
yes, and there's a reason why it's like the main character, Taco. He's over here talking about Hiroyushi and syrup. It's like, no, not even close, bro. It's Hiroyuki and Takuya.
Hershey syrup. I love it.
Hershey syrup. All right. But I don't know.
Yeah. I can't unfortunately give you too much without trying to like spoil, because the setup seems to be good. The setup seems to be good. The build up, the explanation, the world building, it's pretty solid. It gives you a nice history. It gives you a fairly decent forward momentum. It gives you a goal. It gives you a dream. It gives you a past. It gives you a future, and it builds the world that you currently have, albeit in a confusing way, in my experience. But everything else seems to be saying it's a good movie. You know what I mean? Like all the other critiques that I would typically have are only critiques I would do on movies I want to make work, and they don't really have much else wrong with them. You know, like they're good enough that now I got to go to fine print to be like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't understand that. I liked the animation style for the planes. I thought that was an interesting thing. I thought the double propeller was a nice artistic touch.
That made no sense to me whatsoever, but yes, I follow you on that.
Well, I mean, when it does have a twin jet engine, of course you need propellers that spin counterclockwise to one another.
Slowly.
Counter-rotational, sorry. Very slowly.
But when you're dealing with...
It was going so fast, it would just...
Hang on.
That's what your eye could see.
Hang on.
Okay.
When you're flying in an alternate reality world, the laws of physics change.
I don't.
The realities of that universe don't necessarily have to mimic ours, sir. If
this is true.
Godzilla, the movie number 3 for what we watched, has taught me anything, that is the reality of it. All right.
Fair enough. Right. Fair enough.
But I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, it's a short movie. It has great animation, great. It's a great story. There's no source material for it. So it being a standalone with a beginning and end is great, because one of the things that really kind of peeves me, and as we all know, I absolutely love open endings. I'm glad it gave us all an ending. It gave a complete ending. It's like you have a beginning point, you have your ending point. It's like, great. Anything beyond that, it's a nice to know stuff, and it doesn't give you anything beyond that, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's like, I don't really need anything else, because I feel like this was a solid completion. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate you.
I look forward to the post show, because I'm curious to know why you have these views, like what you got out of it that I completely spaced on.
Okay. Yeah.
That said, I think I'm ready for a rating. What about you?
All right. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if you had anything else you really wanted to kind of dive into. No? Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
Mainly because of my misunderstanding, I'm going to give it a 4. I can't go any lower because it had some really strong points, and I cannot fault a movie that appears to check everything off to say it was good is anything less than a 4, just simply because I don't get it.
Yeah, because it confused you. I mean, like, if you wanted to give it a 1, I would be like, hey, that's entirely up to you, man. I mean, like, if you wanted...
That's not fair, though.
It's not a matter of it being fair. It's not a matter of it being fair, right? It is what you truly felt about the movie, right? I can't go below 4 because of blah, 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 blah. No, totally, bro. If you feel like it deserves a lower score, give it a lower score. If you feel like it deserves higher, go higher. But give it the score you feel it deserves, right? How you feel about it. Go, this is like you're on the hill you're going to die on. It is a 1. Done. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's a 1. I don't think you think it's a 1, but
no. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, for me, 4 seems like a very fair number, subject to change, provided
context.
I gain clarity.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, for me, I'm gonna go with a 7. I enjoyed it. The animation was good. Gave a solid conclusion and ending. Definitely helped kind of fill in the blanks for it at the exact same time, and that's largely it. I mean, like, honestly, it wasn't a revolutionary movie by any stretch of the word. I feel like they could have gone into more information. They could have gone more into depth about what was going on. However, at the exact same time, I kind of understand. But I feel like it was done really, really well for that. That's about it.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry. I mean, it just kind of, it was good. It was there. It was solid. It's worth a watch. I mean, like, especially if you've seen it before.
I'm liable to watch it again. Like I said, I got a 3-hour one-way drive from, like, the next 4 days. So it's possible. I may revisit it and hop on Discord and make some amendments to my score, but
right.
Yeah. So, real quick, one last time.
Yes.
It's a 4 from me currently, and what from you?
7.
Not bad. Those actually, they're polar opposites. We come together at a 5 or 6, technically 5.5.
Yeah, I always round up unless we're like at a 9 out of 10. Then I round down.
Fair enough.
Always round up unless we're at the top, and then I round down. All right. Next week we're gonna be watching Overlord season 4 because Rick hasn't seen it.
Nope.
The disappointment.
Seriously, didn't even know it was out.
Right. Even though season 5 is supposed to be around the corner here pretty soon, within the next year or so.
I can't wait. I love this show.
But anyways, if you feel like we did too much justice, not enough justice, or got points right, wrong, any point in between or anything like that, feel free to let us know. All our contact information's in the show notes as well as on our website at featureanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.
And scene.
All right, so lay it on me.
All right. So obviously at the very beginning, when you're watching it, it's like, oh, the tower blows up. And she doesn't realize that she's like, oh, I must have fallen asleep at that point. And I was like, yeah. So obviously because she talks about having dreams and being able to kind of tell things that'll happen. I knew this would happen. When I dreamed it. I knew this was happening. I had a dream on it. And then she dreams about the tower blowing up. It's like, okay, well, number 1 tower is going to blow up. You already know that. 2, she didn't realize she was asleep, but when she was actually asleep. So, she's going to end up in a coma almost like right away in the movie. Okay. And then the fact that she talks about how, oh, my father was a physicist and you're very intrigued by physics and everything like that. So, that they were going to go the science route on this. And then the fact that her grandfather was the one that created the tower, it's openly stated that he created the tower, that she's related to the guy who created the tower, and that her literal dream state is affected by the tower. And they continue to show this throughout, like, oh, every time she wakes up, it grows. Every time she is about to wake up, it grows. When she's awake, it just starts consuming the whole area, everything around it at the exact same time. Like, we need to stop this. It grows. It's like, that's what's going to end up happening.
Makes sense.
Like, throughout the whole thing. Like, it was like, oh yeah. And the fact that she foresaw the tower being destroyed totally makes sense. And the fact that they were talking about parallel worlds, like, oh, there's all these parallel worlds and other worlds that are out there. And he was able to prove this. It's like, all right, obviously he was able to prove it. He built a tower for that very specific reason. And then she talks about being on a tower. Oh, metaphor. And there are all these other towers that are not exactly straight going throughout the thing, looking everywhere all around it, but I'm still alone by myself. Oh, how very unique. that you are tied to the tower and you're looking at other towers that are other worlds that could be tied to.
I'm glad you followed it.
What did you not?
Just trying to explain it. You trying to explain it to me it's
and the fact that they were compelled to go see her because they kept going. They all dreamed about it. They kept dreaming about the desk, the magical desk and everything like that. And the fact that she was borderline in between the worlds for her consciousness, right? At the exact same time when Syrup and Hershey go to the hospital and he reaches out and she touches him. They were able to have that connection, which further deepened their bond with each other.
Okay. So you're basically saying that they too are the anchor points to their own universe.
Yes.
Why? Plot?
Because her grandfather built the tower with her in mind, wanting to anchor the realities together because he hates America.
America.
That's what I'm going with. Other than plot, okay. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, other than plot, why did he create it? What they didn't talk about is how did he discover parallel worlds? No one knows. What the hell is a tower? No one knows. They show their own mini version of the tower on the American side, and it looks like just a spiral. What is it made out of? Yeah. What does everything having to do with it? No one knows. But when you look at the tower, it's not just a tower. It's a very reflective tower. It's very mirror-esque, and it's not even the tower. It's a sheet. It's a wall that was built around the tower. So it's a tower that is covered by walls that have been graffitied on the inside all the way up to signify the worlds that they could be tied to. Because if you look at the graffitis that are on the inside of that very white and pure pristine wall, it is the exact same drawings that are on all the other towers that she was standing on, including hers, signifying how they are connected.
Okay. I thought maybe it signified a broken mind and it failed.
No, because if you look at the tower on the inside of the wall where that tower was in the middle of, right? If you look at the wall on the inner portion of it, you could see the drawings of it, and the drawings were literally on all those exact towers too.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense, kind of, sort of. It's just,
I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying, that's what I got out of it. I didn't find it terribly confusing. It was like, oh, she's gonna be in a coma. They're gonna blow up the tower at the end. Oh, look. He totally bypasses the U.S. and the Union to go to this tower in a ship that they saw.
Yeah,
they saw.
No, it wasn't just they saw it. They knew it was being built.
They knew it was being built. They saw.
They tightened security. Yeah.
They saw the fucking plane. They saw the dang plane.
Yeah, this propeller plane.
Yeah. So. No.
Jeez.
Anyways, but yeah, no, that's why I'm giving it a 7. That's why I gave it a 7. It's because of that. They saw it. They
see what they saw.
They saw what they saw, but the plot was there. The story was easy enough to follow, and you know exactly how it's going to end because they tell you how it's going to end at the beginning.
Fair enough. Any hooser. That's it. It's time. It's time for me, bro.
I got you.
It's time for my bed.
I got you. All right. Well, take it easy. Hope you have a great night, man.
Love you, brother. Night.